Hello everyone, welcome back to Last Call BBS, playing 20th Century Food Court. Yeah, this is my favorite of the games, like, you know. I, I'm almost done with Expugva and Chip Wizard Professional, but I don't really feel compelled to go back and finish them. I just love this stuff, so feels fun. Make food. Wire things up. Very exciting. So what do we have to do here to make hamburgers? Oh my god. Single, double, or triple. Okay. And they may want cheese, they may want pickle, and they may want tomato. And they can want any combination of those. Okay, got it. So what do? You cook the meat for a while on an oven, or a stove, I guess. You slice the bun to get 2 pieces of bun. Stack on tray. Or stack them without the tray. I see. So it looks like even when they ask for a triple, they only get 1 pickle and tomato, right? The single, double, and triple only affects how much meat and cheese they get. And I believe order doesn't matter on a stacker in general. So if I stacked up 3 cheeses and then put 3 meats on there, they would somehow come out in the right order? Probably. I hope. So let's try that. What is this? Cheese and tomato? No, pickles and tomato. Cheese, no, that's bun. It's meat. Okay, maybe this is cheese and pickle and tomato. Yes, okay. So let's just... Oh my god, look how many orders there are. 24. Does that sound right? There's 3 different sizes they could want. And 3 different toppings they could want, which is 2 cubed possibilities, which is 8 times 3 is 24. So yes, this exercise is the full possibility space. So I want to test the order where they just ask for a double with cheese and nothing else. Because that's, I think, the simplest thing to test my hypothesis on. So give me a grill, okay? For that thing. And a sequencer. Also dispense some cheese and a bun. So at time A, do all of those things. How long do you cook a bun? Or a burger? For 4 ticks. So here is when I want to eject, I think. Is that right? Oh, but it didn't eject because there was nowhere to go. No, it came out a little late. Oh, that was just A again. There we go. Okay, so that cooks the 2 buns, or meats. Again, this is just testing to understand how we're supposed to do things, whether it's acceptable. Where's my slicer? Here it is. To just stack this stuff in any old order at all. Oh, I see. It collided with the tray. Okay, so put it up there. It doesn't look happy. They don't look like they're in the right order to me. Yeah. So, we have the right objects, but they are not in the right order at all. Okay, but just for fun, let's see if it's happy with that. So when you stack, give it a -1, and on start, give it a +6. We have 2 cheeses, 2 buns, and 2 meats, and eject on 0. And we'll just see if the customer is happy with this. They don't look thrilled. I have to say, if I got served this at a restaurant, I would question whether I was in reality or not. Okay. But these guys don't know any better. They're like just sampling authentic 20th century cuisines. That's how cheeseburgers were served back in the day. Alright, apparently not. So, you can't just dispense all the right pieces somehow and combine them and be happy. You have to do them in the right order. Which means bun, then alternating meats and cheeses, if any, then the other toppings, apparently in a specific order, right? I would guess lettuce on the top, if I were a sane human being. But they're putting the tomato on the top, huh? I'm not so sure that's right. But okay. Oh, it's a pickle. It's not lettuce. Okay, I mean, in that case, I think either one is as good as the other. Because they're both kind of wet. Whereas the lettuce is dry, and so you kind of want that to be near the bun so it doesn't get soggy. Okay. Well, this seems hard. Like, in some sense, it's not that bad. It's just combining the stuff we've done in previous puzzles. We need to have a meat and cheese subfactory, which can be triggered by some input. And we have a counter controlling how many times to fire that. And then when that hits 0, we trigger the cleanup step, where we dispense any... Well... we don't even necessarily have to wait to dispense stuff, right? We could dispense everything and have it backed up on a sorter, maybe. Because there's only going to be at most 3 things, right? So the sorter could... like... we have a stacker here, counting like how many meats and cheeses have arrived, and independently, like it's counting both when it's ready to output and when we should be ready to dispense the rest of the stuff. So there's going to be two counters feeding off of this. One that starts at a smallish number, and one that is set at a largish number based on, well, it's a little tricky because you can't just have a larger counter that is set, like, gets a +1 signal if they want pickle and a +1 signal if they want tomato, can you? I guess if you had two separate +1 counters or inputs on one large counter, that would be okay. And then, yeah, a third +1 counter for buns, which is always passed. Why was I thinking I wanted that again? I mean, because that would tell us how much more the stacker would need to wait for until it was ready to send stuff out after it had finished counting out the cheese and buns. Cheese and meat, right? So, I think that general idea works okay. It's a little, I guess, tricky because we only have one dispenser here for cheese and pickle and tomato, and I'm saying I want a meat and cheese factory, but also, like, pickle and tomato to be handled separately somehow. So maybe it is better to just wait to dispense the pickle and tomato until we're done with all the cheese. Like, we could put this down here with a sorter to control when the cheese gets out, right? Or no, maybe we don't even need a sorter. Maybe when this ejects, which happens at whatever time when the meat is cooked, we'll just send a signal that dispenses cheese that's enabled only if the customer wanted cheese. Now, that's a little bit tricky, I think, because we can't just go ask what the customer's order was. There's a few workarounds we could have. One would be we could point a scanner at this thing permanently and just have the inputs come to us whenever we want. Another is we could have a counter that is just set at the beginning based on whether there was cheese in the order. Yeah, I guess, right? That takes as much wiring space as a scanner. and is simpler. Like it costs less money and doesn't take any space on the board. However, it still leaves us the question of when to dispense the pickle and the tomato. So I'm kind of coming around to the idea that a scanner pointing at the stacker forever is just a pretty reasonable thing to do. Obviously the cheese is dispensed too soon here, that's fine. Okay, let's just like... No, wait, we still want the meat. Yeah, so by the time the meat is ready, we're already scanning the order and we know what it was. Every cycle. So we could say when the meat ejects, which, by the way, I guess we need to have a meat timer. So we start this at +4. It also has a +5, and it has a -1. When it senses, we send the -1. At start, one of the things we're going to do is set this to +4. When it is when it's 0. I'm trying to remember how I did it. How did I do this in the last one? The wings. So where's my timing for like these guys? So when you are 0, you both eject and add to yourself. Okay, that's enough. So when you're 0, you add 5 to reset yourself and eject. And also what you're going to do is dispense cheese, but only if the customer originally asked for cheese. I'm not sending any meat out there, huh? I unwired that somehow when I was messing with this stuff. Oh, because I only was testing the double order, I see. Where the heck? This is kind of the simple order I wanted to test. A double cheese. Cool. So we don't have the bun or anything, so we didn't do that yet. But looks good. Sort of. Yeah, so this is kind of cool, the way we get the cheese out. I like that. Whenever we dispense a meat patty that is cooked, we add a cheese to it if the order contains cheese. All right, sorry, I had to go answer a text. What was going on here? We had a mechanism for outputting meats and cheeses in the right order. And we're using a scanner here, which is whatever. Oh, and by the way, if I ask for this order, it's gonna make the meat but not make the cheese, right? Nice. All right. So far we have this sequencer that we have for dispensing the meat. That was of course just for playing around. In reality, God, this is hard. We want some number, which is how many patties to make. How many extra patties beyond the first to make, probably, right? So at start, we can just make some meat, and that's cool. But we need a 0, 1, and 2 counter at some point, which is how many patties to dispense, so that these things can just spit themselves out. When does this eject? It ejects when this is lit up, which happens when this is 0. But when this is 0, it also goes back up to 5. So this will only be 0 for a single tick in a row, right? It's 0 this tick, and next tick it's 4 again. So we can use the 0 signal on this as meaning I just this very tick finished cooking a patty. And so that can be sent to our counter for should you make more patties? So let's have this. I wish you could put that back. I wish you could label these. I just tried right-clicking on this to see if it would let me change the name from counter to something else. Clearly not. And all right, let's start unwiring this stuff, which is okay. Start, that's fine. We want that. This whole sequencer can go. Start can dispense meat because why not? Although I guess we're gonna need one of these anyway. So this is the meat output machine. Start's also gonna need to dispense a bun, I guess. So that's this. And we're going to need to do more with Start, probably, sadly, but maybe not. Hopefully I can avoid using another multi-mixer for Start. So if we dispense the bun, now here we need probably a sorter to control when we dispense the last bun. And I think we'll need a sequencer here, which is going to be super inefficient, but I'm basically just going to say, okay, when we're done dispensing patties, spend a tick dispensing What goes first? I really can't tell. What's on the bottom and what's on the top here? This one is just pickle. There's only one input where they have pickle and tomato. I mean, it looks like the pickle in this picture... It's going above the cheese, I guess. So this little fringe here... Or wait, what order... It's, okay, patty on the bottom, then cheese, and then this must be the pickle. And so the tomato must go above the pickle. Fine. So dispense pickle if the customer asked for pickle. And then dispense tomato if the customer asked for tomato. Now that's kind of a waste, because if they ask for tomato but not pickle, we're wasting a turn dispensing no pickles. But I'm just going to live with that. And then we'll dispense a bun. We'll send the bun off the sorter at the right time so that it arrives. Actually, hang on. When does the top bun get there? Like, is this the one I want to delay? Probably not, right? Either one would be fine, I guess. It seems to get there well before the first meat does, so I don't really need to add any artificial delay there. Okay, I say well before, but it's just right before. That's good enough. And then I'll hold the last bun here to be dispensed just in time. I guess I could save 5,000 bucks on conveyors by moving this all a bit closer, right? And then the bun gets there with a little time to spare as well. Seems fine. Okay. So... what is this? This is the number of meat patties to eventually dispense. So when this hits 0, we also go up here to do what? To, if this number is positive, dispense a patty? Well, if we're willing to lose a little time, we can save on wiring, I think. By just using this. And not dispensing a meat on the first tick. And instead, have this be 1, 2, 3, and -1. Because then positive really does mean, like, we're willing to dispense a patty. So, if this is 0... I guess we try to dispense a patty, right? But we also need to decrement this. So we need, like, another mixer, sadly. Just to, like, get us... This 0 is driving so many things, right? It's adding 5 to its own oven timer. It's ejecting from the grill. And it's maybe dispensing cheese. Now it needs to also maybe dispense meat. And also... definitely decrement this thing. So I think we need another one of these. So this just feeds back into here to say there's even more to do if this ever hits 0. We decrement this by 1, and we maybe dispense a patty, right? And you know what? If this ever happens and we don't dispense a patty, that means we're done making patties, right? And that's the time to start releasing, like putting the finishing touches on the tomato, the pickle, and the top of the bun. So I bet we're gonna want more out of this. Okay, let's see what happens though. Oh, I never dispensed anything, huh? So when start, this is... it takes too long for this to go positive. Start goes high, but at the time, this says 0. Wait, this never got... Oh, I didn't feed this at all. But even if I did, it wouldn't be right. Because this won't go high instantly. And start is only set for that little, at the very first tick. Okay, so maybe start can unconditionally make a bun then. Oh, and this doesn't go anywhere. Yeah, I guess these should go back to being the lower numbers. And if someone wants a double, we add 1. If they want a triple, we add 2. Right? Ooh, I liked how the wiring looked better this way for some reason. No, it's still horrible. Okay. So if someone asks for just a single with nothing, then we made a single patty and the bun. And this went negative. That's okay, I guess. Would it have worked if they'd asked for a double? Let's check. That's this, right? No, that's a tomato. Okay, a double with nothing. This says 1, so it should make another meat at some point. Yeah, we're making a meat. Now we're all set up to release a meat and decrement this, but this is not positive, so we're not enabling the make a meat. Perfect. And in fact, this currently is giving the 0 signal. So when this is high, when we're sending a signal here, and this is 0, we can say put the finishing touches on, right? Okay. So let's have a mixer here whose job is that. Only when this is 0 and this is 0 do we put the finishing touches on, which probably is a sequencer, I guess? First maybe tomato, no, first maybe pickle, then maybe tomato, and honestly probably the bun at the same time. Oh no, the bun's right here. It's so... oh my god. Let's do it that way. We're gonna actually wait a sec because the cheese might be coming out at this point, right? If someone had asked for a double with cheese, we would be, although not dispensing another patty, we would be dispensing a cheese here, right? And so we wouldn't want to start the... Okay, hang on, back up. Okay, this is the time interval I'm interested in. Right now, this thing is on. And we don't want to start dispensing pickles or whatever yet. So we actually want to wait a sec on the dispenser, or on the sequencer. To do that. And the bun should arrive after the pickle. But right now they're at the same time, so that should be the bun. Or the tomato, whatever. So we need a couple of enableable mixers for the two condiments. So A is if the customer asked for pickle, then dispense a pickle. B is if the customer asked for tomato, then make a tomato, right? Oh, and C is send this bun away, right? So where is the... There you go. Okay, I don't seem to have done that at all. How did that not happen? Oh, because I never wired this up to the start. There we go. So it's like thinking about dispensing tomatoes and pickles, but not doing it. And then it's saying, have your bun, sir. So, this is all very good. And we just have to get the stacker going now, I think. Because I think if I asked for, like, the most complicated order out there, you know, a triple with everything, I think we would make the right thing. But we don't ever send it out. Ah! What? How did the stacker ever get let out? Hello? Oh, we just set it to 6 for the exploratory testing. Got it. I mean, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? So there's a few things we could do. One is we could somehow pre-compute like how much stuff is supposed to go on the stacker. And then have the stacker count down from that amount. And that's hard, but not impossible. Is there something fancier? Could we, like, you know, have a a way to detect that we sent something to the stacker, but it hasn't arrived yet, I believe that we could. I don't know that it would be very efficient, because what I imagine is, okay, so you put a sorter here. You know, great. It starts at, you know... The problem is, sometimes there's, like, the gap between here and here is very small. So if this counts up saying, wait for one more thing, then when the thing arrives here, I'll be like, oh, I got the last thing. Let me ship it, right? That's not what we want. We could solve that without any complicated wiring by just having a long gap in between the sorter and the stacker. By, like, you know, moving down here. And, you know, doing that. With a sorter here, for example. That always sends something this way, but increments a counter saying, hang on, we're not ready yet. There's a few problems with this. One is... the tray itself kind of needs to get there quickly. Because we're using the scanner to decide how to process stuff. And so we need the tray to arrive quickly. Did I say there were other problems? I think there are. You know, the routing's a little complicated this way, and also it's very, very slow and expensive, so it's not desirable. But it's something we could try as a fallback of a way to solve the problem of when should the stacker be done. The other thing we could do is just try to do math with a bunch of counters. Right? And count how many things we're supposed to stack, like based on just the starting input. And that's a little bit hard, but I don't think it's... I think we have the space for it. Right? What am I using the scanner for, by the way? I'm using it to decide not just cheese, but also the other things. Okay. Because I think the cheese is special enough that we need a counter for it in... Or we need to save a variable for it anyway in the... in deciding how much to put on the stacker. So... if I was only using the scanner for cheese, I would probably throw away the scanner, which would be nice, but I'm not. I'm using it for pickle and tomato too. So I think if we have like a big counter which represents the stacker's control module, it needs a -1 for when it stacks something. That's easy. Where's the stacker controller? We'll put it here, in fact. So when you stack something, take a -1. Very easy. When this is 0, you can eject. Very easy. And I think it needs 2 different +1 inputs. And I think a +2 should get us there. And the rest of the space goes to multiplexers, basically. The idea being the pickle and tomato, which currently go nowhere, that's great, can both go to +1s. Right at the start. Ooh. Actually, the bun needs to be a +1 as well, doesn't it? Well, no, the bun can just be a +2, because we know we're always sending a top and a bottom bun. So the start multiplexer... Okay, well, we can't wire these up directly anyway. One of them needs to go through a multiplexer, because we need access to the +1 anyway. For counting meats and cheeses. So basically my idea is that we're going to save how many patty/cheese pieces they wanted into a single large counter, I guess. And have that count down, adding either 1 or 2 to this counter each time. So the 1 and the 2 inputs to this both need multiplexers controlling them. One of the ones does, anyway. We need both of these because we do need to be able to send 2 +1s at the beginning. Each separately controlled. But so this is a way to send a +1. And this is the way to send a +2. Now, we need one more big counter. I'm so nervous about his space. What are my single, double, and triple wired up to? Single's wired to nothing. Is that okay? I think I can just send it here to the +1, right? The double and the triple are both wired directly here. Oh. So I need more multiplexers for them. But I'm pretty sure I need another one. Based on whether I'm sending a +1 or a +2 over, right? Are any of my existing multi-mixers not being used for any reason? I think no, right? These two, yes, of course. But that's because I plan to use them in part of this plan, right? Oh, I'm out of space. Right, because, like, if they want a double, well, okay, maybe I don't have to count the patties ahead of time. Maybe I can just count them when I dispense them? Okay, that seems promising. So, when I dispense a patty, which is here, I need to add either 1 or 2 to the stacker. I guess there's another approach, which is to try to detect... Don't try to count how many things there are, but just detect the bun being released, right? Or hell, I've already got a sequencer here. I know how... This is all stupid. Okay, this tomato, I can just throw this away, right? This counter is not necessary. These all suck. I can just, like, have the existing sequencer do it. So let's go back to order number 1 to simplify things and make it faster. So I think here I should have D go to eject, right? So on the line like this. Does that just work? Yes. Are the buttons, like, are they distinguishable? Is that the problem? Was I supposed to dispense them in the other order? It's a little hard for me to tell. I guess this one might have sesame seeds visible on the top. Okay. Well, that's all fine. I just need to dispense the bun 2 ticks later, right? It still arrives at the same time, so I don't have to rewire anything else. So this is a double. Oh no, it's a single with tomato. A single with pickle. Looking juicy. This is a single with both. Now they want cheese, I bet? They do want cheese. And this all should work as well, right? Alright, let's just fast forward and see if anything breaks. I don't think it will. Alright, I'm a genius. Look at how the whole thing lights up every time this hits 0. It's very exciting. Doing pretty well on both metrics here. No orange slices or other citrus add-ons. So much for the authentic burger experience. My dad would always go on about how ancient tech workers paid huge prices for mediocre hamburgers, so he's happy that I got to experience it firsthand. Came here as part of a field trip with my first form class. The kids are always so shocked that this is how people used to live. Yeah, nice. I'm reasonably happy with this machine, I think. Are there any, like, obvious improvements I could make? One question you might ask is, why is this so far away? Why doesn't it get closer? I think it could be, but I don't think it would help at all. Yeah. All right. I'm just going to leave it at that. And we get another celebratory message. I don't know if you know what a pump and dump scheme is, but it's basically when people buy a cheap stock and then promote it to get gullible people to buy it too, so they can cash out at a higher price. Zach Maddox unfortunately had this happen to them, which caused a lot of trouble and was a huge distraction for the team. Soon after that, they went the way most of the old bedroom coders went. The industry changed, big companies came in spending big money, and it was no longer possible to survive on games like this. Just hostile markets all around. And next up is Chaz Cheddar. Do I dare to do a dungeon and diagram in the next little while? We'll see. I guess I'll try. Oh, look at all these monsters. Goodness gracious. There's only one open space in all of this, which is interesting. There's only one wall here. It can't be this one. It It can't really be this either, right? Because then there's like no way out of this monster death hall, right? Like, there's no way to connect these areas up with the rest of the world. I think that has to be open. And likewise this, because if this were the only wall, this would not be able to get out to the rest of the world. Yeah. And so that gives us walls around all these golems, which is nice. Could this be the only wall? It could, because this is a dead end. Could this be open? Maybe. Then this would be a dead end and we could get out like that. It seems plausible. Ah, actually. I mean, we have to get out through one of these two squares, right? We know that. One of these is open and the other is closed, and the open has to connect to over here. If this were open, we'd have to have that, which seems plausible. And if this were open, we'd have to have that, which again seems plausible. Well, that has to be a wall, otherwise we'd have a dead end. The treasure room seems important. It can't reach up this high, right? Because then there would be too few walls in this row. So it has to go down. Oh, it certainly can't reach here either, because then this would have way too few walls, so it has to go up. The exit to the treasure room can't really be along this top wall because there would just be nowhere to go. So these must be walls, which means that's a wall as well. Okay. This could maybe be part of the treasure room if the exit were like here and went down. Or were like here or something and went down as well. It looks like it's probably walls, but no guarantees, I think. Actually, this row is really interesting, right? We know there's only one more open space. So, I mean, the path from the treasure room to down here. Ah, you know what I can say is this can't be the open side of this monster. Because if it were, there'd have to be a way to get there, which would come from the treasure room, and directly from the treasure room, because there's no other way to get there, get to here, without like going straight through the treasure room. And then these two would be connected, and they'd both be dead ends with no other connectivity. So that, in fact, is a wall. And then so is this. Two of these are open, which means you come in somewhere and... Okay, so that's one of the open ones. Ah, we've got this column now. And now this is all done, which is great. Now we can definitely say this whole column has to be walls, and we finish the treasure room. Oh my god, my mouse, please. Oops, that can't be walls, not it has to be. And so we finished off the treasure room. That connects up. There we go, not too bad. 6 minutes or something? 7? I don't know. That's the difficulty I like for one of these puzzles, I think. Just a nice little popcorn puzzle. Not totally trivial, but also, you know, done in a reasonable amount of time and making sensible deductions and not bifurcations. So 3 cheers for the Halls of the Golomancer. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.